All right, we're tuning in the future. Per usual, I'm doing a live stream, so I'm going to take about a minute or two to let a few people come in. So if you're watching this in the future, just fast forward about a minute or two, and then we're going to dive into the subject. Today's subject is going to be discussing the power of truth, your identity as a light being, old soul, light worker, indigo child, and what Jesus calls, or who Jesus calls, the father of lies. And we're going to discuss these things because I think the truth of these things is important to remember, and they will ignite something within you. So I'm going to wait about another 30 seconds or so. Just waiting for a few people to come in live. I see a few people coming in. Hello, everybody. As you come in, go ahead and drop me a little hello in the chat so I know that you're here. And as always, I want this to be a conversation. So feel free to drop any questions or things that come up for you in the chat box, and we'll talk about them. So almost there. Gonna wait another maybe 10, 20 seconds. Just give everybody a little bit longer to come in. Then we're gonna dive deep. Dive deep. All right, so let's do this. We're gonna jump into the subject. So last night I was on YouTube and I was watching who I consider to be a spirit guide of mine, and his name is Ralph Smart. He has a YouTube channel called Infinite Waters, and if you're unfamiliar with him, I highly recommend that you watch his stuff. I've been listening to Ralph Smart since about 2013, maybe even 2012. And this guy, I call him a spirit guide of mine because he has been consistently vocalizing those thoughts that I don't know how to vocalize myself. He helps to give me the words and the vibration and the feeling to be able to understand what is going on and my role as an old soul light worker here on the planet. So last night I watched this video that is called "It's Too Real for TV," and I put the video down in the description below. So after we have this live stream together, click in the description and watch his video. The amount of energy that he transmitted in this video is astonishing. I was laying in bed when I was watching this video, and my entire energy body began to vibrate just by listening to his message. He is such an amazing, powerful force for love and truth that it had a physical effect on me when I was just listening to it. And he was laying out that we are in a timeline where basically we are attempting to be imposed upon this new version of reality, this new normal. And that basically there's a new version of Earth that is attempting to be created, that our grandchildren will inherit. And we are not going to let it happen. But if the Dark Ones have their full plan come to fruition, our grandchildren may not ever know what it's like to stand in nature, to breathe fresh air, to breathe in that good-ass prana, as Ralph always says. And we must maintain our connection to nature. We must remember that nature is where we find our healing and our grounding. And it's not a far stretch of the imagination that to think in the near future, Mother Nature herself could be, hey Joanna, could be perceived as the ultimate disease carrier, you know? We are probably going to be fed plenty of propaganda in the very near future that Mother Nature herself is dangerous and human beings should stay away from places like parks and, going on hikes and things like that. I wildly disagree with that statement, but it makes perfect sense when you follow the ideas of control. And so the title of this video is "The Father of Lies Has Already Been Defeated." We're going to unpack that statement in this video. But to wrap up on about Ralph Smart, His link is in below. Watch the video after the live stream and be blessed with his vibration, because I'm telling you right now, he is a powerful vibratory being, and he will uplift you in ways that you didn't know was possible. So watch his video, subscribe to his channel, and stay in touch with him, because he will help any of you old souls, light workers, indigo children that are struggling to maintain your vibration due to the high amounts of empathy that you feel. When you tune into Ralph's messages, your empathy will be nourished. You will be downloaded with these incredible vibrations, because that is who he is. And if you can't tell in my vibration, he inspired me to do the same, and I hope to inspire you to do the same. And so the way that I would like to tackle this conversation today is to discuss the father of lies and the battle that we are currently experiencing, which we are calling the Great Awakening. So we need to dive into Bible symbology, to the mythology of the Bible. Jesus describes the ultimate dark force ruler of this earthly plane as being the father of lies. Now, I believe that those words are chosen very much with intention. The idea, if we go back to the beginning of the Bible, when humans existed in the garden, when humans walked with spirit on a daily and moment-by-moment basis, we're probably all familiar with the idea of the fall of man, the fall of mankind. But what is the catalyst that led to the fall of mankind? It very simply can be stated as the human discovery of lies and deception. This was the moment that we left the garden of perfection with spirit, of living in alignment with truth, which is all that reality is, which is all that is in reality. And we stepped into trying to manipulate reality through our own lies and deception to be something that we would prefer it to be instead of what spirit prefers it to be. This is a problem with our own human ego, which is why, as I go further down this path of Christian mythology, I want you to understand that I am speaking of the inner language of the human being. Inside the human being, we have two voices, two dominant voices. And we see this depicted even in childhood cartoons of the angel and the devil. In biblical mythology, the theology of Christ is that the two voices inside of you are the voice of Christ, which is the voice of truth, and the voice of lies, which is the voice of Satan. Now, for the purposes of attempting to not lose you due to linguistic triggers, I am not going to be using the word Satan, but I am going to be using the term the father of lies, because that is precisely how Jesus describes him. And so the father of lies gave birth in some ways. What I'm trying to say is there was a legion of angels that came with the father of lies to this earthly plane. They were the fallen angels. And now we call them by many names. We call them the archons. We call them dark entities, dark ETs. We call them thought police, negative thoughts, thought controllers, the cabal, the Illuminati. Whatever you associate with this concept can be clearly seen that all of those names I just gave all fall into one category, which is that they all peddle deception and lies. And that is the means with which they create their reality, and the means with which they're attempting to create your reality through lies and deception. And so everybody that is in alignment with the darker forces, they're ultimately in alignment with the father of lies, which is in direct opposition to the reality and the truth that we see around us. The only truth that is here in the universe is that love is everywhere. Love is the only creative force. Fear, hatred, anger, jealousy will never, by definition, be creative forces. They're only destructive forces. Truth, love, empathy, compassion, forgiveness, musical creativity, writing poetry, painting paintings, all of that stuff is of your higher self, because it is in alignment with the true nature of reality, which is a creative harmony of forces. So, there are two factions of society as we see it here on the earth. We see the faction of the children of light, which is probably you watching this video. And there is the faction of the children of darkness, aka the children of the father of lies. Now I want to discuss a very important timeline change in our history. So last night, after listening to Ralph, I felt incredibly inspired to journal, and I felt a channeling message come through me that I journaled. And it was a remembrance of what Jesus Christ did for us 2,000 years ago. Now, listen, if you don't vibe with Christian conversations, I ask you to stay tuned, because you will see how they connect. And there is no exclusivity when it comes to love. Unconditional love is genuinely that, unconditioned. It is available for everyone. And that is what Christ symbolizes. So when Christ was here on the planet in the form of Jesus, I was rereading the book of John in the Bible just recently. And he talks over and over about how the father of lies is the ruler of this world. And yet when Jesus came back, or when Jesus came here, what he came here to do was to end the rulership of the father of lies and to allow divine spirit to once again be available to the human consciousness of the planet. And so when Jesus came and when he died on the cross, what he did in that moment was banish the father of lies from this earthly dimension. So the father of lies, who worked here in somewhat in a physical sense, is now no longer available to be on the planet. And so what happened then to the children of the father of lies, to the children of darkness? Well, they obviously maintain their existence on the earthly plane. And what did they do at this period of time? They organized. They pulled themselves together to create a faction, to create an unbroken cycle of continuing to serve the father of lies, even though he is not on planet. And so this is where we get into the real world conversation of the Cabal, the Rothschilds, the Freemasons, the Illuminati. These conversations center around the fact that these factions that I've just mentioned all worship and ask for guidance from the father of lies. This is who they seek their guidance from. And they see it as this kind of bummer situation that the father of lies is no longer here on the planet. And so they seek guidance from the father of lies to be able to manifest his will upon this earthly plane. But Christ has officially ended the rulership of the father of lies on the planet. So there is this question then of free choice. So right now, when you look outside, I want you to think about this for yourself. When you open your phone and you look at things like Instagram or YouTube or any mainstream media news source, do you feel, and I mean emotionally feel, a freedom to think about things on your own? Do you feel free to express those thoughts? The obvious answer to me is no. There is a very set narrative that is what you are allowed to speak about. And if you do not speak in alignment with that set narrative, you will experience the thought police. Now, the thought police are just another faction, another branch of the children of the dark ones, the children of the father of lies. They are attempting to keep humanity in an enslaved state, which has been the case for so long. But you see, old soul, we passed 2012. We passed the marker where we were either going to destroy ourselves or enlighten ourselves. And so now if you're watching this video and you're an old soul, rest assured that you are on the path to fulfilling your plan, your soul's plan, to manifest the higher vibrations of unconditional love upon this planet. That is your destiny, old soul. You cannot do anything else. If you are an old soul, if you live in alignment with this remembrance of the divinity that is within you, and you treat everyone from that open-hearted space of compassion, forgiveness, and love and togetherness, you are on the path to manifesting the new earth that is described about throughout history, throughout all of our ancestors. Every single ancestral lineage talks about the time that we are living in. The Native Americans, hundreds of years ago, talked about the 7th generation and how the 7th generation will finally be the generation that will transform this planet into its highest expression. And that is you, old soul. You came into this planet consciously, and then you took on the veil of forgetfulness to forget who you really are. And yet, the truth of who you are is self-evident. Have you ever noticed that when you, as an old soul, are really grounded, really rooted in your own compassion and openness, have you noticed how the people around you change without you saying a word? I don't know if you've experienced this along your path yet, but I most certainly have experienced this along my path. I used to think that words were the way that I was going to change people's minds and hearts. And then I realized that no, it's through my vibration, through the raising of my consciousness, that I raise the vibration of everybody that comes in contact with me. And this has become a self-evident truth to me, and probably to you too, or it will be self-evident to you in the very near future. But it is important to remember that as we see the world become more and more chaotic, as I described in a previous live stream, the chaos of the Armageddon that we are experiencing in this timeline is the end of the timeline for the dark control matrix, aka the extended rulership of the father of lies. And yet, at the same time that this system is ending, you, old soul, are helping to recreate this planet, to replant divine consciousness into the very seeds of the DNA of the children that you come in contact with. Watch how you affect children. Adults are set in their mindset. They don't always want to change. They don't always want to open themselves. But when you get around children and they feel your energy, they light up. They become so excited to be around you because they feel it. They don't have the ability to discern through conscious discernment what is going on, but they feel everything deeply. And so that is one bit of evidence I would give you to pay attention to as to the effect you may have on the human beings around you. But we are on the timeline now where this old energy doesn't realize that its time of rulership has ended. It doesn't realize this, and it never will realize. The old energy is on the sinking Titanic, and they're not even attempting to get the lifeboats out because they think the Titanic is in working order. And so they believe that if they continue their mind programming and their mass manipulation, that their rulership will continue. But this is a failing fallacy. This is something that they will never understand. They will never comprehend the fact that their time of rulership is over until they're officially over. And how will they officially become over? Through you, old soul. It doesn't take millions of people. It takes you to change the system. This is why I'm speaking up. This is what Ralph reminded me to speak about. And this is what I'm reminding you to speak about, is it doesn't take everyone. It just takes you. So put yourself in that mindset and know that you create your reality with your spoken word. That is what the Bible describes as the Logos. It is the creative principle, aka known as God Himself. The spoken word is how reality takes shape around you. And so reality listens to your actions. It listens to your words. When your actions or your words are not in alignment with this higher truth, when you are afraid to speak up about what you know to be right and true within your old soul spirit, you will manifest byproducts of living out of alignment with that truth in your reality. Part of the way that these dark ones, these children of darkness, are attempting to get us to remove ourselves from our sovereignty is through symbols. They play in the realm of symbols because they understand the power of symbols. You, old soul, need to remember the power of symbols as well, because two can play at that game. And so the biggest symbol that they are attempting to get us to live in alignment with, to knock us one rung down on our ladder of divinity, is to cover our faces, to wear something that shows the external world that we will comply. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that word comply today. On a quick tangent, I'm trying to talk to Southwest Airlines about getting on their plane without a mask. So far, it's not going very well. But the amount of times this lady on the 800 number said the word comply to me was astonishing. So the whole game is about compliance. If you take these baby steps with compliance, all for the betterment of other people with this kind of bogus boogeyman situation that they've dictated to us to get us to be afraid of, then we slowly remove ourselves from our sovereignty. We slowly hand ourselves through our conscious decisions and actions over to this agenda. And for those of you out there, first of all, most people watching this are old souls, so I know that you understand where I'm coming from. But if you don't understand that this is an agenda, it will only take a matter of time before you start seeing the evidence of the end game of this. Something that Ralph said in his video, which just broke through my consciousness with such a profound degree, was that they want you to wear a mask for the rest of your life. They are not giving an end date to this recommendation. The end date, if it ever comes, will come only when there is a vaccine. And then your choice will be vaccine or mask for a little while, until your choice will become freedom or vaccine. Until your choice will become you cannot work, drive, travel, shop for groceries, have a bank account, unless you get this vaccine. This is not conspiracy theory, you guys. This is fact. This is going to happen. This is as predictable as if the Titanic was, to use another Titanic analogy, in the ocean and there's an iceberg ahead of it. If you don't change your course, you will hit the iceberg. It's not about predicting the future. It's about looking downstream and seeing what's in front of you. If you don't change course now, you will not, there will come a point in time where you will not be able to change course. So we must be aware of this today. And this agenda is moving faster and faster and faster. But let's take a big deep breath. I'm gonna put a big pause right here. I want you to breathe with me. Breathe in. 2 more times. Do you feel that? That is the energy of truth. That is the energy of the promise that you, old soul, will be provided for. All you must remember is that you are in alignment with the most creative force in the universe. The most creative force in the universe. You are not in alignment with destructive force. You see, the old soul is confused right now about how to deal with the reality that we see around ourselves. I feel it very deeply, you guys. The old soul is afraid at this period of time because the voices of darkness have become so loud that they are triggering all of the pain that we feel in our past lives about how they have murdered us, killed us, put us in prisons for the rest of our lives, told us that we are witches, told us that we are crazy. They have gaslit us for centuries. This is not new. What is new? What is new is that now is the time, old soul, for you to get your shield and your sword and to speak your truth in a way that you never have before. I think part of the reason why I'm so emotional these days is because I feel fear. I feel it. I'm an empath. I feel it in myself. I feel it in the world around me. But what brings me to this emotional space is that I feel something greater in me. I feel love. I feel a path that will take me from where I am in this stance of fear and deliver me into a land that my freedoms will be maintained. I know this. I don't know how, but I know this. The peace of spirit does not come with an instruction book. The peace of spirit comes with a feeling. When you feel the feeling, that is the evidence that you have already found that destination and that spirit will be guiding you towards it. So, old soul, now is your time. Now is your time to speak up. When your legs are weak because you are afraid, I challenge you just to stand. When you're... When your voice shakes because you are so afraid of what your friends and your family and your world will think about you, I challenge you to just say 2 more words, to just say a few more words until you feel it again, until you feel your strength. And I promise you that the strength that you will feel comes from beyond your ego. It comes from beyond your muscles. It comes from beyond your own willpower. The strength that you have in you, old soul, is larger than the universe. It is infinite. It is infinity that comes through you, through your DNA. It manifests through you because you're a portal, old soul. You are a portal through which the highest creative energy, which we call love, comes into this planet. If you don't do it, nobody else will. That is why you are here. You see? If it wasn't for you, this whole planet would be destroyed by now. And us old souls, we get impacted with all of this insecurity and negative thinking. But old soul, those are all illusions. The reason why we get impacted with that amount of negative thinking is because of the power that you actually have. The children of darkness want you to put a cap on your light. They want you to dim it all the way down. They want you to think that your light is offensive. They have mind programmed. Everybody that watches their third-eyed mind programming television boxes, that you are the problem for speaking truth, for speaking fact to fiction. This is what they do to you. This is gaslighting. They confuse you, and then they get your own friends and family to fight you because they know that you won't listen to them. But there's a chance you might listen to your own father or daughter. But your soul knows better. And when your soul shows up in those relationships and holds your relationships and their fear in your loving embrace, you will end the mind programming in that human. If only for a minute, you will disrupt it entirely. That's the power of your soul, old soul. You will disrupt every part of the programming just by being here. Do you get it yet? Are you seeing it clearly yet? You are a terrorist to the dark ones, because the children of the light, the old soul, indigo, light workers, star seeds that are here on this planet, have it within their very DNA to disrupt the mind programming that comes through the television on a constant drip cycle. You, old soul, are impervious to that mind programming. You, old soul, are one of the few beings on the planet that can actually expose yourself to this mind programming and not allow it to remake your neural pathways. Who else has that ability? You have that ability, and so you are dangerous because you can see through the system, you can see through the lies. The father of lies has no rulership over you, old soul light worker. So you're a terrorist. But let me tell you another story. You are a savior. You are a transformer. You're a transmuter. You are a walking and living, breathing magnet. You are a portal through which the highest creative forces of love come into this earth plane. And if it isn't for you, this world would be doomed. But your connection to the Christ consciousness is the number one thing I want to remind you of in this video. The moment that Christ banished the father of lies from this planet, human beings were given a choice. And this is the number one thing the dark children do not want you to remember for yourself or to remind those that you come in contact with, that you have a choice. Your choice is between love and fear. What will you choose to consult when you go about your life? Will you consult with the voices of fear internally? Or will you consult with the voices of love? You see, I'm about to fly on Monday, and I'm gonna go see my brand new baby niece. She's 2 months old. What a wonderful gift to the world she is. This little bundle of joy. Just seeing a picture of her reminds me entirely of what divine love really is. And I'm not even a father myself, but my old soul, my past lives know what it's like to be a father and a mother. And when I see my little nephew who's 2 years old and my niece who is now a month old, 2 months old, I'm reminded of all the past life experiences that I've had having my own children. And what I feel in that divine love is truly unexplainable. And so I'm about to be flying to go and see them. Now, I am convicted to not wear a mask. I have conviction to not wear a mask, and yet I don't know how to do it. I don't have enough time to get any kind of medical exemption, and I don't know how to do this. But my prayer is that Spirit opens up a pathway for me to travel to see my family, where I will not have to give in to this symbolism. And so I will keep you updated. I have absolutely no idea what will happen, but I will keep you updated to let you know what does happen. But I believe in the power of Spirit. Spirit is more powerful than any human could ever attempt to be. Spirit is the manifesting force of everything that you see when you open your eyes. So when you touch into Spirit, you are touching into the fabric of reality itself, the field, if you want to call it that way. And the field around you takes shape with your consciousness. So I'm asking you, old soul, to remember coherence, to make a top priority at this point in your life to maintain your coherence at all costs. If that means getting off social media, then so be it. If that means not seeing certain friends and family, then so be it. So be it, old soul. You have an important job to do, and your job is to maintain rooted in your heart space, full of compassion and love and forgiveness and true understanding. This is how you will transform the planet. I think I've said enough. I want to answer some questions from you guys before I get off here. So I'm going to pause for a second and let you guys say some stuff, and then we'll wrap it up. I saw a few comments come in that I'm going to read quickly. Yeah, Ralph has been such an inspiration and guiding light for me. Preach, babe. This info is so important for other old souls to encourage us to speak up. Got to keep our vibes high. You are love. Keep shining your light. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to give you a few more minutes to speak anything that you want that we can talk about, and then we'll wrap it up. If there's one thing I want you to remember, it's that the father of lies, the ultimate master of deception, has no power over you, old soul. Remember this. Feel it in your DNA. Feel the lifetimes in your past life that you've had where you have evidence that this energy has no control over you. Bobby says peace and love. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate you chatting and saying hello. There is nothing to fear. And even if you do fear, the definition of courage is choosing to move forward in the face of fear. Courage is only possible with the prerequisite of fear. If you don't feel fear first, you cannot be courageous. Because to be courageous means that you feel fear and you act anyway, whatever that means. If that means you take just one more step, or you speak just one more word, or you come back to a hurting relationship to try to heal it just one more time. If you feel fear, this is your reminder, old soul, that courage is waiting inside of you to become manifest. In the moment that you feel fear, courage is within your potential to manifest. And when the old soul displays courage to the world will change. The world will feel that energy because you are a walking and living, breathing magnet. Everywhere you go, your heart pumps out energy. It pumps out an actual quantum field of energy that other hearts come in contact with. And when your heart comes in contact with someone else's heart, the dominant energy takes control of that group. Now, what do I mean by the dominant energy? Fear is a very powerful energy, but it is no match for love. When joy is embodied in the old soul, that joy extends into your energy field, into the hearts of the people around you. They may feel just put at ease, if only for a brief moment in time. Watch in your life how in the very near future, you will see how people will be magnetically drawn to you simply because of your energy, simply because of your coherence. That is the power of your soul. And so remember that you are a walking and living, breathing magnet. Coherence is the most dominant form of energy. And coherence, it's like a puzzle piece. It locks in and takes other patterns, turns them into coherence and locks into yours and creates this chain reaction of coherence. So when you walk into a crowd, anywhere you go, whether it's a grocery store or you get on an airplane or you're just trying to get some gas, wherever you go and interact with people, remember your coherence, remember your peaceful, open-hearted energy. Your Merkaba is more powerful than it ever has been, old soul. Stand in that knowledge and watch how the world around you will magnetically shift to be in alignment with your coherence. This is a fact, a fundamental physical truth about reality. Fear may be powerful, but it is no match for love. It is no match for coherence. That's it. I feel the end. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I pray a blessing over you as you go on with your day and with your week. I pray that Spirit moves through you in powerful ways and shows you that you are a magnificent force of love that is no match for the, or that fear is no match against. I lost my English. I don't know how to say that. There is no fear that can overcome your transmuting power with the creativity of love that is within you, old soul. Live in that, breathe in that, experience that, and send that to everybody that you come in contact with. I pray blessings, protection, and uplifting to go on within your energy field. That you may be a marvelous miracle to all the people that you encounter because you're not in fear. You're not experiencing trauma. You're not experiencing loss or lack. You're not getting sick. Isn't it amazing what the power of those few things can communicate to other people? So I pray those things for you, that you may experience that in your reality. And I am speaking my reality into existence, and I ask and pray for you to do the same. It is through your actions, old soul, and your words are action, that your reality takes shape. You speak your reality into existence. It's time to take all of the lifetimes of education and soul remembrance that you have within your Akash, organize them and put them into practice. Organize them in thought and put them into practice through action. You are more powerful than you could possibly understand. Your human, limited ego, which is intertwined with the veil of forgetfulness, does not allow your conscious brain to think that far outside of the pre-programmed box. But your soul will remember. So get out of your brain, get out of your ego, drop back into your soul, and live from that space. I see Bobby says, thank you, I needed this at this exact moment. I am inspired again. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you for saying that. And I'm so glad you were here to listen to the message. Once again, I pray that all of you experience the most incredible lifetime you've ever experienced, where you will finally see the power of spirit and how spirit is way more powerful than fear or the father of lies himself. So with that being said, if you're watching this in the future, drop a comment down below so I can talk to you. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button and the bell so that when I go live next time, you'll get a notification at the moment I go live. And until I see you again along your journey, oneness in sound. I am OnenO. Peace.